Okay, so sorry guys, give me just 2 seconds and we will get started. Miss Duck, are you in this call? Should we be recording yet?
Yeah, should be.
Ah, cool.
I think we paused.
Yeah. Okay, so this evening we're going to be doing a workshop on public speaking. So we're going to be basically learning about what public speaking is, the benefits that it has, and why it is a valuable skill for us to want to do. So before we get the actual workshop started, okay, so before we get the workshop started, we're going to watch a few videos of some speeches, and I want you guys to have a pen and a piece of paper so you can all take some notes about the speeches that you're watching. So I want you to write down notes about the things you like about the speech, about things you find interesting about the speech, and also about the speaker as well. So I want you to watch for their things like their body language and their tone of voice. So not just what they say, but how they're saying it, how it makes you feel, what it makes you think when you hear them saying these things. And the first speech that we are going to watch is one by Martin Luther King Jr. And if you don't know who Martin Luther King Jr. is, Martin Luther King Jr. was a prominent leader in the American civil rights movement from the mid-1950s until his assassination in 1968. He championed for the rights of African Americans using nonviolent civil disobedience, inspired by his Christian beliefs. His famous "I Have a Dream" speech symbolizes the civil rights movement, and he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. So this is the speech that we're about to watch, actually, his "I Have a Dream" speech. So Alice, if you could play that for us, please.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, The life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged.
All right. We've noticed that it is lagging on the PowerPoint presentation. So Alice is just going to play the video on YouTube. So the video should be, so the video lagging issue should be fixed this time. Sorry about that, guys.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day with all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when they happen, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at.
Okay. I know that video was still a bit laggy, but I hope you were listening and taking notes and paying attention, because we will be talking about these speeches during the workshop. The next one that we have for you is the Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech of Malala Yousafzai. And, excuse me, Malala Yousafzai is a Pakistani activist advocating for female education, particularly in regions where the Taliban has restricted girls from attending school. She survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban, which spotlighted her cause globally. She became the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate in 2014 and continues to promote girls' education through the Malala Fund. Thank you, Alice.
I'm proud, well, in fact, I'm very proud to be the first Pashtun, the first Pakistani, and the youngest person to receive this award. Along with that, I'm pretty certain that I'm also the first recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize who still fights with her younger brothers. I want there to be peace everywhere, but my brothers and I are still working on that. I'm also honored to receive this award together with Kailash Satyarthi, who has been a champion for children's rights for a long time, twice as long, in fact, than I have been alive. I'm proud that we can work together. We can work together and show the world that an Indian and a Pakistani, they can work together and achieve their goals of children's rights. Dear brothers and sisters, I was named after the inspirational Malala of Maiwand, who is the Pashtun Joan of Arc. The word Malala means grief-stricken, sad. But in order to lend some happiness to it, my grandfather would always call me Malala, the happiest girl in the world. And today, I'm very happy that we are together fighting for an important cause. This award is not just for me. It is for those forgotten children who want education. It is for those frightened children who want peace. It is for those voiceless children who want change. I'm here to stand up for their rights, to raise their voice. It is not time to pity them. It is not time to pity them. It is time to take action. So it becomes the last time. The last time. So it becomes the last time that we see a child deprived of education. I have found that people describe me in many different ways. Some people call me the girl who was shot by the Taliban, and some the girl who fought for her rights. Some people call me a Nobel laureate now. However, my brothers still call me that annoying bossy sister. As far as I know, I'm just a committed and even stubborn person who wants to see every child getting quality education, who wants to see women having equal rights, and who wants peace in every corner of the world.
Okay, and I hope you're still taking your notes, guys. And we have one last speech still to watch, and that is the highlights of the last speech ever given by Barack Obama as President of the United States. Now, Barack Obama was the 44th President of the United States from 2009 to 2017, and was the first African American to hold the office. His significant achievements include implementing the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, and advocating for LGBTQ rights, which led to the nationwide legalization of same-sex marriage. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009 in his efforts for international diplomacy. So let's watch this video, and then we'll get into our workshop. Alice, we can't hear anything from this video.
But that's what we did.
Can we start the video again, please, Alice?
Hello, Chicago. It's good to be home. If I had told you 8 years ago that America would reverse a Great Recession, reboot our auto industry, and unleash the longest stretch of job creation in our history, if I had told you that we would open up a new chapter with the Cuban people, shut down Iran's nuclear weapons program without firing a shot, take out the mastermind of 9/11, if I had told you that we would win marriage equality and secure the right to health insurance for another 20 million of our fellow citizens, if I had told you all that, you might have said our sights were set a little too high. But that's what we did. I can't do that. After my election, there was talk of a post-racial America. And such a vision, however well-intended, was never realistic. Race remains a potent and often divisive force in our society. If you're tired of arguing with strangers on the internet, try talking with one of them in real life. If you're disappointed by your elected officials, grab a clipboard, get some signatures, and run for office yourself. Show up. Dive in. Stay at it. Sometimes you'll win. Sometimes you'll lose. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, girl of the South Side. You made the White House a place that belongs to everybody. And a new generation sets its sights higher because it has you as a role model. Malia and Sasha, of all that I have done in my life, I am most proud to be your dad. For too many of us, it's become safer to retreat into our own bubbles, whether in our neighborhoods or on college campuses or places of worship, or especially our social media feeds. Surrounded by people who look like us and share the same political outlook and never challenge our assumptions. And increasingly, we become so secure in our bubbles that we start accepting only information, whether it's true or not, that fits our opinions, instead of basing our opinions on the evidence that is out there. I'm asking you to hold fast to that faith written into our founding documents, that idea whispered by slaves and abolitionists, that spirit sung by immigrants and homesteaders and those who marched for justice, that creed reaffirmed by those who planted flags from foreign battlefields to the surface of the moon, a creed at the core of every American whose story is not yet written. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much for playing those videos, Alice. Miss Duck, we can start the live stream part now. We've watched the videos. Okay.
Can you give me a
so-
second, okay? You can talk, but before you see the live stream link, then you start, right? Give me 1 minute or so.
No worries. Okay, so Alice has brilliantly prepared for us a slideshow to help with this little workshop that we're doing. So yeah, in the chat, put up some messages, guys. What did you think of those speeches that we just watched? Just type it into the chat. Let's have a look at what some of you thought. Luna thought they were loud. Okay, so we've started the live stream now. So welcome everybody. This evening, the NCSN English Club presents. Next slide, please, Alice. Our workshop, Finding Your Voice, an intro to public speaking. And a beautiful quote that I thought was very fitting for this slide was, speak so that others love to listen to you, and listen so that others love to speak to you. Next slide, please, Alice. So again, I'd like to welcome everybody. We have 96 people here this evening. That's a fantastic turnout. And so again, yeah, I'd like to thank you all. And this evening, we're going to be covering the following topics. We're going to understand the basics of public speaking. We're hopefully going to learn a few tricks to develop some confidence in speaking in front of an audience. And we're going to learn how to articulate thoughts clearly and effectively. So we've got a lot of a few icebreakers to do. We've got a few activities, and hopefully we're going to learn lots. Next slide, please, Alice. Okay, our first activity is a game. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. So I'm going to pick a few people who are going to turn their microphones on, and they're going to tell us two things that are true about themselves, and then they're going to tell us one lie about themselves. They're going to tell us all that, and then we're going to see if we can guess which one of the things they said is a lie. Okay, so can we cancel the screen share for just a minute, please, Alice? Now, we have three people with their hands up, and 4 people now. So I'm going to start going through the list, and you are going to tell us your 2 truths and a lie, and we're going to see if we can guess which one is which. Okay, so first up, Luna.
Okay, so I like to. Okay, so here's 3. One,
Yep.
I like to read. 2, I like to write, and 3 I like blue. That's
You like
the lie.
what, sorry? You're not
I like-
supposed to tell us which one's the lie. We've got to guess.
I said guess the lie. I said guess the lie.
Ah, okay. So you love to read, you love to write. And
And
what was the third one?
I like blue, which is the lie.
Okay, guys. In the chat, send your messages in. Which one do you think is the lie? Send messages in through the chat. Luna, we've had a request for somebody from somebody to repeat your 3 choices again, please. So one more time for us, Luna.
I like reading, I like writing, and I like the color blue. She doesn't like writing.
Well, I think we just got the answer there. Okay, let's try this again. And our next speaker, please nobody give away which one is the truth and which one is a lie. We have to guess. All right, next person in line is Mina. Mina, tell us your 2 truths and 1 lie, please.
Okay. My dad is a doctor. My mom is a teacher, and my aunt is a shipper. What
Is a what, sorry?
My dad is a doctor.
Yep.
My mom is a teacher, My aunt is a shipper. What's lie?
Okay, so her dad is a doctor, her
Yes.
mum is a teacher, and her aunt is a shipper. Which one is the lie, guys? So we've got a few people thinking that you lied about your aunt.
Nope.
That's true. Okay.
Nope. That's true. My dad is a doctor is lying because my dad is a teacher too.
Ah, well, that is the only one I didn't see anyone guess. I ended up seeing a couple of people guessing they thought your mum being a teacher was the lie, after you said that your aunt being the shipper wasn't. So well done, Mina. You managed to trick us. Well done.
Thanks.
Okay. Well done, Mina.
Thanks.
Chiet Kong Nguyen, you're next in line.
You can call me Maxie.
Maxie.
So I will tell you, I like to make 3D animation. I love coding, and I love watching TV.
Okay, so we've heard Maxie's 3. Which one do we think is the lie? Can you repeat them for us one more time, please? Whoop, where did you go? So watching TV and coding were the correct ones. That means it was the 3D animations was a lie. We had Michael guess that one correctly. Well done. Well done, Michael. And Dian Huang also guessed right as well, making 3D animations was the lie. Well done, guys. Okay, we have time for a couple more, and then we're going to move on. Next on the list is Tony.
Hi everyone, so I want to tell us, first I can solve a Rubik's Cube.
So you can
Ta-da!
solve a Rubik's Cube. Tell us another 2 facts.
The fast, right? I can solve a Rubik's 3x3 for 30 seconds. I can solve a Rubik's Cube, the Rubik's 2x2 under 1 second.
Oh, so say those 3 again for us, please.
Yeah,
So you can
but in the 2x2, I say I can solve under 1 second a line.
all right. Thank you very much, Tony.
Okay.
Okay, we have time for one more, then we're going to move on. And oh my goodness, I'm going to say this name wrong, so I apologize. Nguyen Lin Chi Quang Nin. I probably said that very badly. I'm sorry.
I think you said it correct.
Hey, that makes a change. So Nguyen Lin Chi Quang Nin. So tell us 2 things that are true and 1 thing that is a lie about you.
Okay.
But don't tell us which is which. We have to guess.
All right. I don't tell that is truth or lie.
Good. What are your
So-
3 things?
Yes. The first is I like the pink color. The second is I like swimming. And the third is I like playing the piano.
Okay, I
Could you
like the
guess?
color. I like the color pink.
Yes?
I like swimming,
Yes?
and I like to play the piano. Guys, which one do we think is the lie? She likes pink, she likes to swim, and she likes to play the piano.
Well, they guess it right. They guess it's I like playing the piano and I don't like playing the piano because I don't have a piano at home.
Okay. Very good. Congratulations to everybody that guessed playing the piano. We had a few people thinking that number 1, that she likes pink, was the lie. We had a couple of people thinking that you like to swim was the lie. But I think the majority guessed piano. Well done to everybody. Well done. Okay. Thank you, Nguyen Lin. Chi Quang Nin.
You could call me Cindy.
Thank you very much, Cindy. That makes it a lot easier for me. Okay, we're going to restart the line from there. And let's go back into our slides. Thank you, Alice. Next slide, please. So, the first thing that we want to talk about is what is public speaking? So, public speaking is when you speak to a group of people in a structured, deliberate manner intended to inform, influence, or entertain the listeners. So what that means is that you are speaking to a large audience or an audience that can be any size. The speech needs to be structured. So you need to have it written down beforehand. You need to know what you are going to say. And it needs to be in a deliberate manner. That means that you are not going to, what am I trying to say? You're not going to just waffle on, just say anything. It's very deliberate and it has a point, and you need to tell them what you need to tell them. And the purpose of that can be to teach your audience something new that they didn't know before. It can attempt to influence their decision on something, like a politician making a speech. They want you to vote for them, so they're going to try and influence you to vote for them through their speech. Or the other thing that a public speech can do is to entertain. So something like a stand-up comedian getting on stage and telling jokes for an hour, that's a form of public speaking. And that one's actually quite hard because they don't carry their cue cards. They just remember it all in their heads, which is incredible. The importance of public speaking. Public speaking is actually a very important skill to have, and it can affect your life in many ways for the better by learning how to do it. For example, public speaking is a valuable skill because it helps you express your ideas clearly. It can help you in school if you've got to, even just so much as how you interact with other students and interact with the teachers. If you learn about public speaking, it makes your everyday communication a lot clearer as well. It can help you in your future job if you need to make presentations to potential clients to land a business deal, perhaps. It can help you in your job interview. It can help the boss be very impressed by you during the interview, and it can help you get the job. And it can just help you feel more confident in general. If you're a good communicator, then yeah, if you're a good communicator, it can just help you feel more confident knowing you're able to express your ideas very well. Some other examples of when you might need to use public speaking. I think I used most of those in my last little bit. But yes, you might use public speaking when you're giving a presentation in class for an assignment. If you're speaking at a school assembly, perhaps, or even if you're just telling a story to your family and friends. If you've mastered the skills of public speaking, then yeah, it just makes you a more effective and confident communicator. Next slide, please, Alice. There we go. There we go. So we watched the speeches before. Well, we watched very laggy speeches before. I do apologize. I don't know why the videos were quite as laggy as they were, but hopefully you are all taking notes like I asked you to, because we are going to talk about those videos that we watched. So we see the 3 people that were in the videos that we just watched. One was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was a civil rights activist back in the 1950s and some of the 1960s. We've got Malala Yousafzai, and she is the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, which is an incredible achievement for her work in bringing children's and women's rights to Pakistan, where she's from. And of course, we have Barack Obama, who is a former United States president. And you heard some of his incredible accomplishments in his speech as well. So the first thing I'd like to do is discuss what makes these 3 examples. These were just 3 examples that I picked for this workshop. But what makes these 3 examples such good public speakers? So if you would like to give your opinions, I'd like you to put your hand up, please. And I'll ask a few of you on your opinions about these public speakers. Dory, you're first in line. Dory, what did you like about the speeches that we watched?
So I think Malala Yousafzai was very good creators, and I really like it. And I think Barack Obama is United States of America president, and he is about first Black president in the United States. And I think Martin Luther King Jr. was the people to be equal. Like, he was a Black people, so he does not want everybody, the white people, to be like when we are on a bus, and then he would have to sit on the back of the bus, and then the white people was going to sit at the front of the bus. And then Martin Luther King Jr. doesn't want that, so he has a speech to other people that maybe they will make sure that white people and Black people are equal to each other. I can. I think that is all my things that I wanted to. Your mute is off.
Thank you. So yeah, can you please tell us, Luna, what you liked about the speeches that we heard?
Well, well, they all were pretty loud so that you could easily hear them. Because when you're making a speech, you start say it loud because then it's just like a whisper and nobody can hear you. So I think they're good public speakers because of that point. And Martin Luther King Jr. gave a speech to fight for justice and freedom for Black people. He never gave up. Did they even throw rotten eggs at him when he was making his speech?
I don't think while he was making this speech in particular, but yes, he definitely did encounter a lot of racism and a lot of public attacks during some of his earlier speeches. Yes, he most definitely did encounter a lot of attacks like that. So you liked his speech because he was very loud and he was able to communicate with the entire audience that he was speaking to.
Don't forget he used a microphone.
That's right. He used a microphone too to amplify his voice. And what about the words he was saying? What did you think about the words that he was saying?
They were like a message of peace.
Absolutely. He was begging for peace and for equality for the African Americans as well.
Fighting.
My apologies, correct. He was fighting, yes, but he was trying to fight with non-violence. His preferred method of protesting was polite, non-violent civil disobedience.
Who's supposed to be speaking right now?
It's a conversation, Luna. We're supposed to be having an exchange of ideas. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think Mala is still alive, so you could probably meet her. But she did say that she was rather pleased that she was the first Pakistan and youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And when I was listening to his speech, it wasn't really clear sight, so it was kind of laggy at some points. The voice was.
So the voice was a little bit laggy in Malala's speech?
Occasionally.
Ah, okay.
She also said that Indian person or whatever country he was from.
Yes, he was from India.
He looked it. And she said what her cause was.
She did. And just for reference, the reason that she mentioned that he was from India and that she was from Pakistan is because right on the border of those two countries, they're actually at war currently. So that was her making a point that that two people from two countries that are currently at war with each other, that they can still get along and achieve big goals if they work together instead of fighting each other. Well, thank you very much, Luna. That was terrific.
I haven't even said Barack Obama.
Haven't even said what?
The last one, Barack, that president.
Barack
died.
Obama. Go on.
Uh,
Let's hear your thoughts on Barack Obama.
Well, it was his final speech, so he did cry there, and he did cry. Well, I think he did.
I think he did get a bit emotional.
He might have been named next president, but he was also talking about the rights. He did fight for Black people as well. He also did fight for Black people as well, I think. And he also spent time in jail, but he did shine, but he never gave up. So he must have been pleased at his success when he was giving that speech.
Yes, I think he did spend a little bit of time in jail, but it wasn't for anything too serious. And it was way before he was the president. Well, we've got a few other people that I'd like to hear from. So thank you very much for your opinions, Luna. That was great. Okay. Next up, we have Michael Pequeño, feeling a bit Spanish today.
Hello.
Hello. So what did you think about the speeches that we watched? And in particular, what did you notice about the speakers and how they delivered their speeches?
Okay, so I'm talking about Martin Luther King Jr. first. So at the very beginning of the speech, he started like really, really slow. Yeah. And when the audience starts to cheering him, he goes faster and louder.
Yep. Building up that excitement. Good. He gripped his audience and he just pulled them along for the ride. Very good, Michael.
And Malala herself, well, she developed her speech in a funny way. She adds some jokes in it. Yeah, but she done the most important thing is to be proud of herself.
Yes. And it showed in her delivery when she was giving the speech, how she was very determined, and she had a few moments of levity in there with the jokes, but then she would also go on to, you're right, be very proud, and it showed in how she talked, didn't it?
And Obama himself, the way he's delivered the speech is he mainly talk about I think he's mostly talk about like the American thoughts on what have he done.
Yep.
Yeah. And he bring in some good example of that.
Very good. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about Barack Obama?
No, actually.
Well, thank you very much for your opinions there, Michael. That was very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next up we have Lynn.
So I want to talk about Martin Luther King because he's one of my favorites. Yeah. So can I start?
Can you, sorry, Lynn, can you just turn your camera on for us, please?
My camera is broken, so I cannot. Sorry.
Not a problem. Well, go on. You wanted to talk about Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay. Martin Luther King Jr. is my favorite because he is a very good politician and he's have won Nobel Peace Prize, and I very like of his voice and his ability to talk around public people and all the audience. He did said one sentence that I remember all my life is I have a dream. His dream is to be for the racism for the African Americans to stop the racism, and he stopped the racism of African Americans cannot do whatever they do like because the white Americans have took all their rules and things to like example you want like this is a bus for the white Americans for a bus for everybody, but when the black American sit on it he sit first, but the white American just pick him off and he need to stand up, and it's that action make the African American very angry because they do not have rights. It's like Britain fight with the 13 colonies of the American. They need to listen to the British and things like that. I enjoy his public speaking because his voice, his entertainment have made the audience like his voice and his like his best. He's stopping the racism by using no violence because violence is like using guns and shooting. That is bloody, and he doesn't want that. He just wants to end the racism for the African Americans and the white Americans. And actually he did
very good.
He did actually stop it, and he with his energy to makes the audience in Washington DC to make the racism end right now, because he doesn't want the people need to have rights, because if you don't have rights, that means you're not independent. Yes, and if your country have independent, why doesn't you have rights? Because your country have rights but you don't have. That's not make sense, and that is why I like Martin Luther King Jr. because of his stop the racism and have the energy to stop the Black Americans and the white Americans. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, we have time for one more person to tell us what they liked about the speeches. And that is Jane.
Okay, so I think that
hello, Jane.
Hello. And I think that Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech is because he had a lot of knowledge and he doesn't accept discrimination and determination for the white people, because he wanted the African Americans and the white Americans to be equal. He also wanted to end slavery too. So he gave a speech in Washington, D.C. as I Have a Dream, and his speech has attracted the audience to hear him. It is loud, but it shows that he does not accept the white Americans' slavery and not equal. And Malala Yousafzai's speech is about women and children to be having freedom, and they have freedom and happiness to do what they want. Barack Obama's speech is his final speech as a president, and he also cried, but his speech is also like it attracts the audience to hear him, like Martin Luther King Jr. And one of my favorite public speakers is Martin Luther King, because he did not give up for the Native Americans. He wanted the white Americans to give freedom for the African Americans to make a whole freedom country.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jane. Well done. Okay, so can we go on to our next slide, please, Alice? So, where are we here? So yes, so some very good points brought up by the children that just spoke. Very well done. So now I'd like to talk to you about some of the elements that make up a good speech. So as we can see here, we've got clarity, conciseness, and engagement. So the definition of clarity is the speech is easy to understand. So like Malala's acceptance speech for her Nobel Peace Prize, she used very simple language, but it's still very effective language. Everybody was able to understand what she was saying, and everyone was able to understand the point that she was trying to get across, and she made that very easy for everybody, of course, by using that simple language. So that was a very effective strategy that Malala used. Our next point for giving a good speech, our next key element, is conciseness. And conciseness means the speech isn't too long or repetitive. So again, I would actually use Malala or Barack Obama's speech. So Barack Obama had, and that video we watched was only the highlights of his speech, the best bit, but those bits that we saw, he had a lot of different things to talk about, and he kept it very concise. So he didn't talk about each issue that he was mentioning. He didn't talk about any of it for too long. And when he was talking about it, he was very straight to the point. He didn't repeat himself. And by doing that, he was able to put a lot of information and a lot of different stories into a rather short period of time. So that's another very effective strategy. And the third key element to make a good speech is engagement. And engagement means the speech is interesting and it keeps the audience's attention. And the best example of that, I think, that we can use out of the three that we watched is definitely Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. Because like Michael pointed out, he said that he started off very slow and very deliberate with what he was saying. And that pulled the audience's attention in to want to pay attention to him. And then when he got them involved in what he was saying, he started using more powerful words and more emotional language. And that's when you start to hear the audience start to scream and cheer and start to go crazy. Like when he was saying he had a dream, and when he was talking about he wanted freedom and justice to ring out across all the mountains across the country. It was very vivid language that he was using. And yeah, so those are three key elements for a good speech. And hopefully you got some good examples out of the speeches that we watched. So now I'm going to pass it over to you guys. So put your hands up if you'd like to answer this question. And the question is, can you tell me or tell the class of an example of a speech that you watched or that you heard where you can recognize some of these elements? Have you seen a speech or heard a speech delivered that used some of these elements? And if so, could you tell us about them, please? We have Nguyen Man Tang.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, so could you tell us about a time that you saw a speech?
Yeah, so it was about a few months ago. I would say it's about 2 or 3 months ago. It happened in the, I don't know if you know about the organization TED. You know TED, right? The TED Talks. So, yeah, I was in the TED Talks. I was one of the speakers. Since they are hosting a competition for high school students like me. So when I participate myself in there, I have listened to numerous other students speaking, and some of them really impressed me. With one speech is about LGBTQ community and their right to live in the world without without showing without hiding that.
Sorry to interrupt. Your microphone, your microphone is very, very blurry. Are you able to fix that?
Okay, now this is very hard. Is it better now? It's still like blurry. Like, is it better now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very blurry. It's hard to hear what you're saying clearly.
How about now? Is my voice clear now?
A little bit better.
Okay, so
a little bit, but not much.
So it's pretty hard since my microphone is a bit bad. It's in a pretty bad condition. So right, yeah, I heard.
It almost.
So like what? Can you hear me or something?
But yeah, it almost sounds like there's it almost sounds like you've got a pillow wrapped around the microphone.
Okay, not this bad.
I think you move on, Michael. It's I worry that he used the
Alright.
speaker. Yeah. He used, some kind of speaker.
No worries.
Just,
Well,
yeah.
We'll have to come back to that story if we've got time at the end, but thank you. Okay, so it's time for a, where are we here? Okay, so we're going to have, can we go to the next slide, please, Alice? So we're going to have a nice little interactive activity now. What makes a good speaker? So if everyone wants to put their hands up, I'll ask a few people to tell the class what you think makes a good and engaging speaker that you enjoy listening to. So first up, we have Tony.
Okay, well, I think we need to have the voice and we need to be I think we need to be talk much more and be better when we speaking to the people in English or England and America, or everyone can speak English. You need to study more and need to speak to everyone. Don't be shy, okay?
Okay.
That's all for me. Because I know.
Good. So I want to go back to your first point. I just want to go back to your first point. So you said that a good speaker needs to use their voice. So what did you mean by that?
A voice? Oh, well, Tim,
Yes.
the voice very important. When you don't have a nice voice, everyone will don't listen it. But when you have a voice, but you don't have anything, or you very shy, is because I know I work.
Okay, so
Because I know I was like this. Because first I go to Pogo because there is a center. The English center is open in my Samsung city, and I invited and tell to everyone. Yeah, like I'm very shy, but say don't be shy. So I finish it. And I do 4 times, very shy, but I forget the shy and I think about don't be shy, you will be okay.
very good. That is another good point. You need to speak with confidence and not be shy. Or even if you are feeling shy, you need to overcome that and deliver your speech anyway. Very good, Tony. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, next in line, we have Dory.
So I think when we speak up, we need to speak up loud, and so we speak up loud, but they also have a thing that a microphone. Oh, but we need to speak up loud, so that's that you won't be shy. And then
Correct. We need to project our voice so the audience can hear it. Very good. Do you have anything else that you think makes a good public speaker?
Yes. When we talk,
and what else do you think makes a good public speaker, Dory?
I think when we speak up, we don't be shy. When we be shy inside our body, and then we need to be calm down, so it won't be shy.
Very good. So even if you're feeling shy, you need to be calm on the outside to deliver the speech. Very good, Dory. Thank you very much. Well done.
I will have one.
Okay, next up, we have Draco Malfoy.
I think the thing that makes a good speaker is like you feel confidence, and when you talk, you like if the topic you're talking is a really sad one, then you should like express your feeling on your face. And you also sometimes don't go right into the topic at once, but you should tell a story that relates to the topic you're talking about.
Very good. That is a very good point, that if you should match the emotion of the speech you're giving to the emotion that you have in your voice and on your face, and the emotion that you reflect with your body language. Very, very good point. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have time for a couple more. So, Michael, what do you think makes a good public speaker?
Well, I think it is interact with the listener, because like the quote you said before, yeah, they want them to be listened. And for example, like a stand-up comedian, they would ask people questions, and they would make jokes about the answer that they receive. And the second reason is that they have to smile, because first thing, smile is positive, so that will comes out a positive energy. And the second thing is that smile can make you to have positive feelings, although you just think about negative things. Yeah, it really effective when you smile.
That was good, Michael. Thank you. I think I'm having some issues with my Wi-Fi connection, so give me 2 seconds just to swap that over. I will be, if I suddenly disconnect, I will be right back. Sorry about that, guys. All right, that is much better. Ms. Duke, can you make me co-host, please?
Sure, wait for me. Sorry, can you raise your hand, please? Yeah, I see you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Duke. Okay, so next in line, it looks like we have Jane. So Jane, can you please tell us what you think makes a terrific public speaker?
I think that first of all, we need to speak loud because we're speaking in a big audience, and if we speak quiet, the audience cannot hear us. The second is we must have a lot of knowledge about what the topic we should tell. We want to tell. And the third is we need to be brave, and we don't have to be shy. When we are talking in a big audience, when we are shy, the speech is not as good as a brave speech. When we talk bravely, it makes the audience contract on us, and the audience will hear us, and we will attract the audience by our speech.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so can we go to the next slide, please, Alice? All right, we're moving on now. Okay, so our next thing that we need to talk about is body language in public speaking. So first of all, let's define body language. And body language is a type of non-verbal communication. So it's what we see, and it's where you use your body. Examples being your facial expressions. So whether you're smiling, whether you've got a frown, whether you're crying even. It's your gestures. So what you do with your hands, what you do with your legs and your feet, if they're visible. And it's your posture. So how you're standing. Are you up nice and straight with your head up high? Are you slumped down in your chair like this? And all of these different factors, so our facial expressions and our body language, all of this is used to express our feelings and our ideas. And I can't remember the exact statistic, but I think something like, I think it's something like 75 to 80% of what we communicate to people, and this is just an everyday conversation, but it's some ridiculously high percentage of everything that we communicate to people is actually communicated through our tone of voice, through our body language and our facial expressions. And it's actually very, very little of our communication is actually based on the words coming out of our mouth. So that's something to think about as well. So body language is very important for public speaking. And one of the reasons for that is your body language can show that your audience, that you are confident. We had a lot of people just mention the importance of confidence in public speaking. And it can also show that you're passionate about your topic. So it shows that you care about what you're talking about. And that can be very, very important. And it can also help your audience keep engaged, because if you're just standing there making a speech like this and just talking, and I bet some of you are already getting bored with this. But if I'm more engaged, and I'm looking at people in the audience, I'm making eye contact with people, I'm, like Michael said, I'm engaging with members of the audience, I'm more likely to keep their attention and have them be interested in what I'm saying. And a few different aspects of body language, we've mentioned them already, the first one is posture. So posture is fantastic for displaying confidence. So if I'm sitting here right now talking to you, and I'm sitting up with my back straight, my chest lifted in the air, and I'm looking straight at the camera, it shows you that I'm confident. It shows you that I'm invested in what I'm saying to you. But if I just kind of sit here, if I change my camera angle, if I'm just talking like this, I'm just leaning on the table and chin rested on my arms here, I bet the first thing you guys are going to think is, well, he doesn't really care about what he's talking about. He can't even sit up straight. So your posture can be a very important factor in your public speaking, and not just public speaking, but your overall communication as well. Like if your mum or your dad comes into your room and they have a conversation with you, and they're going to think you're not very interested in talking to them. Whereas if you're more engaged in your posture and you're sitting up and making eye contact with them, it shows respect, and it shows that you want to engage with them, makes people feel better about talking to you. And that is a very valuable skill to be able to demonstrate. What's next? So gestures, hand gestures. So you might not be able to see them too well, but my hands are usually constantly moving when I'm talking, and a lot of people tend to do that as well. And it can demonstrate points that you're trying to make. It can emphasize things. It can also help display your mood that you're in. So if you're talking with your hands, for example, and you're very like that, when you want to make a point, it can help emphasize the point you're trying to make. It gives it that extra oomph, gives it that extra severity that is going to really make people pay attention to what you're saying. Can also help with other things like directions, so the shop's just down the road that way, hang a left and then go right at the next street. It just helps people visualize certain instructions that you're giving as well. So there can be a lot of very good there can be a lot of very good things to come from using your hand gestures. Also, if you want to be a bit more serious, you can demonstrate that seriousness through your hands as well. So there are a lot of things that our hands and our bodies can say that our mouths and our voices can't. And next up, eye contact. So if you are talking to somebody, I'll try and get a bit closer on my eyes here. Don't worry, I don't think my eyes are too crazy. But if I'm looking directly at you into the camera right now, it can give you that feeling that I'm trying to talk to you. I want you to get the benefit of the information I'm giving you. And hopefully we can with our eye contact. Now, if I was talking to an audience, for example, like this large group that we've got here, what I actually like to try and do So what I actually like to try and do when I'm speaking to a large Zoom class, I just tried to do it then, but for some reason I couldn't get into the gallery view. But I like to look at the screens. Very good, Fong, very good. So yeah, I actually like to try and look at the screens of all the people in the class, and I feel like when I'm talking to you, I feel like I'm making more of a connection with you. when I look at the screens and I look at your faces on the screen. That helps me communicate with you as well. So there are a lot of fantastic resources to learn about body language. I'm just going to quickly look for one. I've got a book on it here that I think is just absolutely fantastic. Can you guys hear me currently? Ah, there we go. Yep, much better. Okay, yeah, so I'm just looking for the name of a book that I think you guys should check out for body language. It is absolutely fantastic. So search up this author, guys. He's a former FBI agent, and he actually helped to he actually helped the FBI realize what a serious helping tool body. Whoop! I just sent that to one person. Different one. There we go. So the guy's name is Joe Navarro, and he's got a few books out on body language, and one of them is called What Everybody Is Saying, and it is a fantastic book about body language. It teaches you what every single part of your body is, communicating, and it separates it all from the head, the neck, the shoulders and the arms. The hands have their own separate chapter. Your body, so like whether it's slumped over or whether you're sitting up tall, your legs, even your feet. Absolutely incredible book. So to learn a lot about body language, look up Joe Navarro. Next slide, please, Alice. Hang on, Tony, I want to get through this next bit, and then I'll let you give us your idea. So, vocal modulation in public speaking. So the importance of voice modulation. So voice modulation means to change and control your voice based on what you are saying. And the changes can include your tone, your pace, and your volume. So tone is the attitude you express through your voice. So it's when you're excited and your voice gets quite high pitched, or when you're happy, when you're laughing and talking, your voice gets quite high pitched. It's when you're sad and your voice gets very almost stuttery, like that. When you're sad, when you're trying to talk, that is your tone. Your pace is how fast you speak. So whether I'm talking really, really fast and you kind of I can't even talk that fast. It's when you're trying to talk really fast and you can't really understand what you're saying because you're talking too fast and it just sounds like crazy. Or it's when you talk really slowly to make sure that everyone understands what you are saying. And it's also your volume. So whether you talk really, really, really loudly, or whether you talk quietly like a whisper. So voice modulation can make your speech more interesting and engaging by playing with these different attributes. So you can change your tone and your pace and your volume to come up with a near limitless amount of different ways of speaking, and you can use those combinations to match any mood that you're trying to convey when you speak, and it helps you express different emotions, basically. So we've discussed the different aspects of vocal modulation. So at the end of this, I'm going to give you some homework, and I'll explain what that homework is, but it's going to involve body language and voice modulation. So hopefully I've explained vocal modulation and body language, nonverbal communication well, and you understand that a bit better now. So we are going to, this was supposed to be a 1-hour workshop. I've turned it into a 2-hour workshop. Okay, so those of you that have wanted to speak but haven't had a chance yet, can I get you to raise your hands, please? So I'll get you to raise your hands like this. Beautiful. Okay, so going to need a couple more. So our next activity that we're going to do is I'm going to, actually, I'll just pick the two of you. So Lynn and Draco Malfoy. The task that I will have for you is I want you to pick a topic that you're interested in, and I want you to speak about it for a minute. So I'm going to get a stopwatch set up on my screen here. Okay. So first up, Lynn.
Sir, I have one question. Is the guy that write Joe, the guy is Joe Navarro like that? And what book do he talk about the body language?
So he's got a couple of books out. One of them that I have read is called What Everybody Is Saying. I'm going to put that in the chat, so anyone that's interested can check it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So What Everybody Is Saying by Joe Navarro, amazing book. Now, would you like to participate in this exercise, or were you just asking me about that book?
The book is in 2008, right? The book, What Everybody Said. Saying.
I believe that's when it came out. Although I think he might have released an updated version. But whichever version you manage to find, it's all really good information.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move on to Draco Malfoy. You're going to be our first participant.
Okay. So the
yeah,
topic,
so all right, let me start my stopwatch. And those of you that are in line, so I'm going to get Michael, Tony, and Emily. You three, Michael, Tony, and Emily, start writing notes down about your topic, and then I'm going to give you guys a minute to speak. So are you ready, Draco Malfoy?
yes.
Okay, I'm going to start my timer and start talking for a minute. Go.
So the topic I want to talk to you today is about fashion. Fashion is sometimes really important because a lot of country has its own traditional fashion. And it also showed which country where you're from or which nation you're from. So I think fashion is really interesting. And fashion also give you the thing that you're wearing, also gives the people whether you are wearing modern or you wearing the old tradition. And sometimes when you go to some interest meeting, fashion is also important because you need to pick the right fashion, like you wear jeans and t-shirt to the meeting. And there's a lot of fashion in the world, and each kind has its own unique. And each one has its own pattern. I think everything in this world has fashion and design.
Oh, I muted myself. Here I was thinking I was speaking, but I wasn't getting listened to. My apologies. So, I liked your topic, Draco Malfoy. That was very good. You presented some good arguments and some good points of view. The one thing that I would say is that when you have 1 minute to speak, make sure that you have only 1 minute worth of stuff to say, because if you go over time in some speeches, they will just cut it off. But other than that, you made some very good points of view. So thank you very much, Draco Malfoy. Okay. Next up, we have Mr. Pequeño. Michael.
Okay,
Let me get my minute thing started.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
The topic today would be, ladies and gentlemen, about gaslighting. So the first thing I would really like you to know that gaslighting can help you read other people's mind and predict the future. Well, before gaslighting, you could do some calculation yourself. So you could be aware of any situation that's happened. Imagine yourself being as a really very crazy situation. It will happen. And you have to notice every move the people make. Try to know them, the thing that they don't like or they like, everything about them you could get. And the body languages about them when they talk to other people and you. And in 99% of the time, you will have to wait until you take your action, but be reflexively. When you take action, make sure it's slowly. If you're
That's
against
your minute up.
Yeah, I know.
So that was a very interesting speech. I would just offer you the same advice that I gave to Draco Malfoy, which is when you have 1 minute to talk, you try your hardest to fit all of your information within that minute. But good job otherwise, Michael. Well done.
Yeah, the IELTS is like 2 minutes and it feels like really long.
It's crazy that, isn't it? When you don't have long to speak, it seems like it goes way too quickly. But when you've got not long to speak, or when you've got a long time to speak, it feels like it goes quite quickly. It's crazy. But good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Tony.
So first I want to tell you, teacher Michael, I want to know you about more in after class. So we will talk together. This is my topic. Well, why we need the children need to play Rubik's? First you need to know play Rubik can make everyone smart, because you need to logic and think about it. You need to be smart to solve a Rubik's cube, like that. And well, the world record for 3x3 and 2x2 is 0.947 and 3.31. I will show you how to solve a Rubik's cube. Easy. Yeah, so fast. 4 second point 32. Yeah. Yeah, that's all for my topic. Okay.
Very good, Tony. So that was a not very common topic that you made interesting by talking about the benefits of learning about Rubik's Cubes. That was very good. And you got your speech done in 54 seconds, and it included a demonstration. So well done, Tony. That was very good. That was very good. Okay, next up we have Huai An.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, are you ready to talk?
Yes, I'm already.
Okay, I'm going to start your clock now.
Today I'm going to talk about feathers. And the very first feather weren't used for flying, because the earliest known animals with feathers weren't birds. And they probably scientists they were probably dinosaurs. These dinosaurs, they couldn't fly, but the feathers probably helped them in other ways, like staying warm. Some dinosaurs were covered in long, red-like feathers that would be perfect for trapping warm air to the skin. And the very first feathers were blending in. Others dinosaurs have feathers with camouflage pattern to help them to hide from predator to ambush prey. And
that's your minute. That is your minute.
Okay,
now, thank you. So again, another uncommon topic that was made very interesting by how you were talking about it. I could tell through your tone of voice that it was something that you found interesting, and that was information that you were excited to tell us about. So that was very good. The one thing I would suggest to work on is that to organize your So the one thing I would suggest, sorry about that. The one thing I would suggest is to organize your information before you speak, so that you know what you want to talk about, and so that you can ensure that you can talk about it in the time limit you're given. But other than that, that was very, very good, Huai An. Thank you very much. Okay, we've got time for a couple more, and then I'm going to give you guys some homework. Next up, we have Luna.
I'm gonna talk.
Are you ready, Luna? Are you ready?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, I'm going to start your clock.
I'm going to talk about Pluto. Well, Pluto is a dwarf planet, though it used to be one of the planets in our solar system as the ninth planet but unfortunately it didn't obey one of the rules because a planet has to have enough gravity to make a round. It has to orbit the sun and clear its neighborhood. But Pluto does not clear its neighborhood. Therefore, it is clarified as a dwarf planet now, along with Eris, Ceres, and Maki. Pluto has blue skies and actually red snow, and there is a heart-shaped glacier on it, which is a eternal rainwater, and it also looks like a heart. It looks like a heart, but it can also look like a dog, because
And that is your minute. That's your minute, Miss Luna.
Okay.
So that was good. You gave me the opinion that you were excited to talk about Pluto. You gave us some good information and you actually taught me something I didn't know. So that was good. Again, I would just say when you've got a time limit to talk, make sure you organize your information to be able to fit into that time. But other than that, very good. Thank you, Luna.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Huggy. Are you able to, there we go. Hello, Huggy.
Hello.
Are you ready to talk?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, I've started your clock. Go.
Today my topic.
I've started your clock. Go.
Today my topic is about weather. Sometimes the weather might change every time, like when it's rainy, but it starts sunny. When it's rain very heavy, sometimes we have flood in our house. Sometimes it's sunny. Sunny is very sunny. It can help flower too. But at least when it's sunny or rainy, we still have to bring our umbrella. Because rainy, you want to go outside, but you don't want to get wet. When you go sunny outside, you don't want to get your skin burned. When it snows, it's quite cold.
That is your minute. That was a nice talk. You had a nice steady pace to your voice, which is very good for informing people of things. So you were informing us about the weather and some precautions you should take for different types of weather, and your tone of voice matched the information that you were giving very well. Again, I would just say that try to keep your information organized in a way that you can deliver it within the time that you've got to speak. But very well done, Huggy. Thank you very much. Okay, we have time for, I'll say 2 more. And then I'm going to give you guys your homework. So next up we have Jane. Whoop. My apologies, Jane, where are you? Jane, can you put your hand up again, please? Thank you, Jane. Okay, so Jane, are you ready to talk? Are you ready to talk, Jane?
Yes. Hello, teacher.
Terrific. Hello. I'm going to start your clock now, so start talking.
So today my topic is about sleep. Sleep is very important in our people's lives. Without sleep, we will feel grumpy and we won't focus on our work. Humans need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day. If we sleep like 6 or 5 hours for children, the death will cost 12%. And if we sleep more like 10 or 11 hours, then our death would be 30% more. Yes. If we don't have enough sleep, I think it can also cause death if we don't sleep for many days. And more is when we sleep, our brain is very busy.
And that's your minute. So well done, Jane. First I want to compliment your tone of voice. It was very it matched the tone of the speech you were giving. It sounded serious, and yeah, it matched the information that you were giving us. Again, I'll say the same to you. Just make sure that you organize your speech so that you can complete it within the time you're given. But I liked your tone of voice. I liked your delivery, and it was interesting information. Well done. Thank you, Jane. Okay, we've got time for 2 more.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, I'm going to call on Tintin. Okay, can you put your camera on for me, please, Tintin?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you very much. Are you ready to start talking?
Yes, teach.
Terrific. All right, your time starts now.
Today, I will talk about food. If we get right the food we want, our body will get fit. If we eat fast food and doesn't recycle, we could be eat fat and no doing works. Like if our mom sent us to go shopping, we just lays out and eat food. If we keep body healthy, we can go to do anything we want, like play, swimming, going anywhere we want. If we keep eating fast food, it can be bad to our health. If we eat healthy food, our body will take us a lot. Will take us in a body fit, so we can exercise more quickly, and so we can exercise like swimming in the ocean and have no trouble wearing life jacket or floating tube.
And that is your minute. Well done, Tintin. So your information was good and obviously correct, talking about how if you eat just enough food, you can be very healthy. And if you eat too much or you eat the wrong kinds of food, you'll get fat. That was all correct. And interesting, the one thing I would say, actually another good thing, you timed that perfectly. Like the second you stopped talking, that buzzer went off to finish your minute. That was very good. The one thing that I would say is that while I understood everything you said, I thought you talked just a little bit too fast. So maybe in future, consider slowing down your speech a little bit, and you can really hammer that point home a little bit more by slowing down a bit. But otherwise, that was very, very good. Thank you very much, Tintin. Well done. Okay, I've got time for 1 more, and the next person in line is Khan Lin.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Okay. Are you ready to talk?
Yes, now.
Okay, I have started your clock now.
I want to talk about a topic named dreams. Our dream come from a part of the brain that contains thoughts and memories. Each dreams can last from 10 to 40 minutes, and everyone can dream, but not everyone can remember it after they wake up. And a person can have up to 6 dreams a night. Most people dream in color, usually with sound, and we dream about ourselves and the people we know. And dreams come from our memories, so we can learn from them, learn about ourselves and learn studies from the past event of the dreams. Okay.
And your time has just expired. Well done. That was very, very well done. You used your time perfectly. You spoke about an interesting topic, talking about dreams. Your tone of voice matched your topic of discussion. You delivered the information at a good speed. I could understand clearly. So very, very well done. That was very, very well done. I don't actually have any improvements
Thank you.
to offer you. Well done. Thank you. Okay. Now it's homework time, guys. So just to let you know that Nam and Ethan, those of you that attend this Sunday night English speech club regularly know Ethan and Nam. They are coming back to host this class for next month, for the month of July. And once July finishes, they are both moving back to America, so they won't be with us anymore. And that's when this new public speaking class will be starting up properly every week. So your homework, you have a month to complete this. You're all on, or your parents are probably all on the Zalo groups. To properly attend this class on a weekly basis, you must complete the homework that is given to you. If you do not complete the homework, you'll not be granted access to the Zoom class. Homework, and like I say, you've got a whole month to get this done, is do your research on body language, facial expressions, and the vocal modulation that we discussed as well. So the pitch, the tone, and the speed of talking. Your homework is to do the research and pick 5 different emotions. So it can be any emotion you want: happy, sad, angry, funny, whatever emotions you want. Pick 5 of them, and your task will be to create 5 one-minute videos. I'm going to put this in the group on Zalo for a proper explanation. But 5 one-minute videos, and each video you must talk in using a different emotion. So doing your research on body language and vocal modulation, your posture, your hand actions, your facial expressions, everything needs to reflect the emotion that you are trying to display in your videos. And the topics just need to be something that you it just needs to be something that you think would make someone watching your video, would make them feel that emotion. So if you choose happy, pick a topic that you think would make someone happy and display happy in that talk. Pick a video, if you choose sad, pick a topic that you think people would make people sad and display the body language and the facial expressions of somebody that's sad. So I want you guys to try and explore. Luna just sent me a message that said eating insects. I think that would be a video that would make me disgusted. So I'll be, bleh. But yes, so 5 different videos talking about 5 different topics and displaying 5 different emotions using your vocal modulation, your body language, your facial expressions, just to the best of your ability, make me believe those emotions that you're feeling. You've got a month to get that done. There will be some new Xalo groups being created for this class. And like I say, completing the homework is mandatory to be able to attend the class. You guys have done absolutely fantastic listening to me drone on for the last 2 hours. I hope you have enjoyed this workshop. And in the class, once it gets started up, the public speaking class, because it's going to be a weekly class, we're going to be able to focus on one aspect of public speaking, and we're going to be able to really analyze it and learn some really cool things that are going to help you guys a lot in the long run. So thank you very much for your attention tonight, guys. You are excused. So yeah, we'll post details about that homework in the next day or 2. You've got a month to do it. And Ms. Duck, please don't close this meeting. Tony would like to speak to me after class. So that's it, guys. Go do your research, learn about nonverbal communication and vocal modulation, and make me believe your emotions. Well done, guys. Hmm? 59 currently. 59. Yeah.
You want them to attend your class tomorrow? Tell Alice to attend the dialogue.
Teacher, are you busy now?
I'm gonna stay on this call so we can have a chat. Just give me a couple of minutes and then I'll speak to you, Tony.
Okay, now
Give me about 3 minutes. I need to do something. Okay.
Okay, Tony.
We will talk later.
Okay. By the way, everybody, Miss Duck is going to post details about a persuasive writing workshop that I'm running. It starts tomorrow night, and it's going to be tomorrow night and next Monday night as well. So if you are interested in learning about persuasive writing, come along and join the workshop. It's going to be very interesting.
7 p.m. Monday?
Yeah, so it's going to be 7 p.m. Vietnam time. And Ms. Duck has created a Xalo group for the persuasive writing workshop. So join in on that.
I'm
and
back.
I'll see whoever decides to join. No worries. Give it another couple of minutes, Tony. We'll wait for everyone to clear out. Alice, can you transfer host to me, please?
I can't because I'm not the host.
Bye. Good night. Good night.
Oh, it says you're both host and co-host. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining tonight.
Bye. Good night. Bye.
Good night. You guys did fantastic.
Bye.
Good night. Good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
I just wait in here.
Yeah, we'll wait for everyone else to clear out. That's strange, Alice, because it says you're both. Ah, thank you very much.
I think it's
And thank you, and as well, Alice, thank you very much for your help with the slides tonight. You did a fantastic job as always.
Thank you. And
You're
is Miss
welcome.
going to send the homework to them, or should I?
Alice, turn on the live stream and recording before you talk some. If you have a private discussion, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait. I need to check the house first.
Live stream's been ended.